Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome incredibly distinguished guest, John Ralston Saul, and his lovely Adrienne Clarkson. Please bring them. Let's see. Let's get through this ready. Where do I go? You are lovely and talented, Andrew.
Well, also, it's my first appearance with a knee replacement.
What did they replace it with?
A bionic thing.
Oh, exciting.
Yeah, it's about a foot long.
Well.
And it's just great, and I'm very happy with it. So I'm very happy to appear. And I don't really need the cane, but what if I fell over from emotion?
You're nice and close on that mic there, if that's okay.
Yeah, okay.
Right in.
But we had to come today when we heard from Dave you were having this. We'd just do anything to save Ontario Place for the public.
Now, why do you believe this particular situation with Ontario Place? What is there's a lot of questionable political maneuvering going on to get this done, and I think, are you alarmed by that kind of thing right now, or?
Well, of course, you're always alarmed by anything that you think is political maneuvering or people trying to do something which they shouldn't be doing. I go back to the Spadina Expressway and 1971 and our fight right through that time to get the expressway stopped, and it was stopped by Bill Davis, who was the Premier of Ontario and who was the Premier of Ontario when Ontario Place opened. And he had been Minister of Education. I happened to work for him for 5 years when I was Agent General in France for the Ontario government in the 80s. And I consider him to be the finest political person I have ever met in my life. And that was because not only did he know what was good and right, but he listened to people, and he was incredibly generous, and he was very, very smart. All of those things seem to be lacking these days.
Weird.
And, it just is one of those things that we just, I can't believe it. I see the things that people say, and I think, where are the brains? Where's Robarts? Robarts said in 1970 that Ontario Place, what he said was, we need this place because Ontario is going to receive millions of immigrants, people from all kinds of backgrounds, who don't have any money, who will be working day and night, who'll be doing all sorts of things, who'll have to take their kids somewhere, and this is for them. This is for the growing Ontario. And that, I feel that very much, because I'm an immigrant myself. We came to this country, we had out of a war-torn situation, 80 years ago, and we depended upon public things that didn't cost very much money, just a little entrance fee. And when you say that Terme Spa is going to be for the public, if you enter for $70 each, and that's before you get your bathrobe, I don't think it's for the public.
Well, people love spas. I mean, people are going, hey, where are all the spas? How can I get access to a spa, Adrienne?
Yeah, I know, and you've got your 4 kids and 5 kids, and they're going to go to the spa with you and get.
Are you allowed to talk, Jim?
It's one of the. I mean, you may not have known, but in the list of the reasons that people come as refugees to Canada,
spa treatments.
Spas.
Yeah. Where can I get my cuticles pushed back?
Exactly.
It's the thing that's made
my
Toronto a
calluses
big
removed.
city.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, people are clamoring to get out of their own countries to get appeal. Now, John, what's it like being married to this very articulate and smart, and a little bit bossy, maybe? Is she bossy?
No, you just keep on your toes.
Oh, yeah?
Keep on your toes.
That's
Quite
right.
high,
Well, really?
Yes,
Is there a
they have to be
competition? Who's the smartest between you two?
Well, that's a good thing, isn't it?
I don't
You
know.
wouldn't want to be a couple where the other one thinks that person's dumb. I don't have to work.
Here's the
hard.
thing. All you do is say, oh, no, you're really smart. And then you know that you're smarter, right? And then you just let them live.
There's a thing. So if I'm allowed to, where I prefer hearing the singing, but if I'm allowed to say an historical thing, I was thinking about it before, and I did a bit of checking. The history of regimes and countries that embrace gambling as a way of raising money for the government is a sign of deep degeneracy. Deep degeneracy, and it's right through the history of all civilizations around the world, whether it's in China or in Europe, in Russia, when gambling tied to democratic government is a sign of decline and degeneracy.
Yeah, I bet.
So
And
that's-
you know,
that was a fun
and the
thought.
reason why we say that is that we know that if that spa doesn't work, they will say, oh, it doesn't work, but boy, do we have a wonderful client for that space. This space will be just terrific for a casino.
That's
is
what's
just-
coming.
And
This is
this,
just
I
step
really
one,
believe, is
you know.
something that there have been thoughts about, okay? I don't have any inside information. Who would give me inside information there?
I think we're all worried about what will happen to the Cinesphere.
Oh, of course. And
I
it's so
love the
wonderful.
Cinesphere. The first
wonderful.
time I went there, it was that weird film of like a bush plane flying into the
yeah,
trees,
yeah.
and you would go, "Oh my God, we're all gonna die," but it wasn't. We didn't.
But it's a kind of funny. It's kind of a funny thing, you know. We all thought we knew that there was a difference between public land and private land.
Yeah.
You know, public land is public land, and
Yeah.
private land's private land. And if you want to change it from one to the other, it's a big deal. And instead of that, it's just been slipped. They're trying to slip it over and make it as if, oh, well, this is a normal thing to do. And it will be for the use of the public, as Adrienne says, you know, and a spa.
Of course.
Which will turn into a gambling place. I mean,
Yeah.
expensive places, not for immigrants, not for most citizens of Toronto.
I
It's an
think-
elite.
I think
It-
it'll.
What about the trees?
And the
Well-
trees, 870 of them, all of which we are hugging right now.
Trees don't
Yeah,
gamble.
And also during COVID, we walked a lot, right? Didn't we all go for walks a lot?
Of course.
A lot on that area.
Yeah, a lot in that area, also on the Leslie Street spit. And it was really quite wonderful to see the diversity of people that use that. Because they can't go to Muskoka, and they're not going to go to Lake Simcoe. They haven't got the time or the schedules that allow that. They go for walks, and they take, because this is like land is public, and you don't want them just in a little 1 acre park or something. Everybody has the right to have the space, and that's what we have in Canada, and we do have it on the waterfront. And that's what we have at Ontario Place, and that's what it was always intended to be. Eb Zeidler was a fantastic architect, and he came up with this dream, with this beautiful dream of these pods with that theater in it. And I remember taking my children, my grandchildren are at university. So my children were 5, 6 years old, and taking them to the play area there, and all the happy memories I have of it. Okay, it's not just nostalgia. I just remember it as being a wonderful place. And because, all right, maybe it's out of date now, maybe it isn't, the thing it should be, but figure out what it is going to be for now. It belongs to us as Ontarians.
Well, that's the thing that upsets me most about it, is this is a piece of public land that you have no right to sell to raise money. I mean, a government isn't really a business. It's a trust for the public. So you're holding these lands in trust and developing them for the future
Well,
of the
that's
people.
that idea of trust which seems to be missing.
Oh.
You know, and it's, it's a really interesting thing to think about this city. What makes this city magical? Because every city is different. Like, this isn't Paris. It's not the perfect, beautiful place. It's rough and tumble physically when you look at it.
I've been
But
in so many fights.
Yeah. Oh,
That's just on the way here.
that was you. was
because
it?
you're
Yeah,
you.
we
I
fought
remember
briefly.
now.
We fought briefly. You got me quick. I didn't even see you coming, but ow.
But there are really two magical things about this city, I think, really big magical things. One of them is that we became, over the last half century or so, a place where the whole world lives. No other city in the world does this the way we do it. I promise you. We've been everywhere in the world. You have too, maybe. We've been everywhere in the world, and no other city puts the world together in a kind of, oh gosh, really? Way, the way we do. It's sort of a mess. It's not the government that does it.
No.
We do it. We just figure we're going to live together. We had the 19th century where Catholics and Protestants fought, and there was anti-Semitism. We decided enough with that. We're going to live together here. And that's one of the magical things, because I go to places all over and they say, you can't have those kind of people all together. I mean, that'll be a disaster. I say, no, actually, that's what makes it fun.
Yeah.
And the other thing that's magical about Toronto is it's a city on an inland sea. We're on an inland sea. They don't like to talk about that. They like to pretend it's just a little lake. It's not. It's a grandiose inland sea. And that coast, when Adrienne says it's ours, that coast. It's not some little lake thing. It's the coast of an inland sea. And we had to fight over the years. We'd lost a bit of it, where those skyscrapers are. But most of it, we fought back, and it's ours, the citizens of this city. And this is another attempt to remove a big part of our coast and give it to a little group of people for their personal use
And their profit.
and their profit.
Oh, but they'll hire all of us.
Yeah, I'm
It'll
looking
be
at-
great.
I'm
We'll all
looking
get
at-
jobs there, and
Yeah.
it'll be great. I'll bring towels to people, and they'll say, "Go away, boy."
Yeah.
And
Can you
I'll
get
s-
me a job?
I
I'm
would
I'm
love
a writer.
to.
I always need a job.
Yeah, but
you
the
know,
other thing that is disturbing about this whole process is how Sarah was talking about it earlier, but to pass a bill that exempts you from any prosecution in the future if you do anything wrong, well, that's bizarre. That is just
What is it, Bill 154?
154. Yeah.
Yeah, the thing about democracy is, you know, if you've got a majority, you can pass all sorts of laws. But passing laws is having a majority. That's one little bit of democracy. Sorry, I'm being the boring guy who's. This is
No,
my area,
nobody's
right?
bored. This kid right here is riveted.
How come he's staring at you?
I don't know.
But you know, the other half of democracy is when you have power, how do you use it? That's the central part of living democracy. The elections last 2 minutes, a month. Then you have to live with it. You're responsible, and people watch you, and they ask questions, and expect things of you, and you're not supposed to be kind of getting rid of the public coast
No.
for your buddies or whoever they are, so they can make money. That's the sign of classic corruption, whether individuals are getting money or not. That's classic, deep, deep corruption.
It's moral corruption at
Moral
the very
corruption.
least.
And ethical corruption.
I don't know what you're talking about.
No, either do I. I mean,
No,
really.
I don't either, really.
Well, you know, the thing is, when you have a majority government, what's happened, it seems, with party politics is that you only want to serve the people who voted for you rather than all of the public.
Well,
right?
that's not the principle of democracy. That's the principle of, that's kind of a Napoleon idea.
I like
Like I'm
Napoleon.
in now, so I'm going to serve my friends. That's not democracy.
No.
Democracy is you get in and you say, okay, who didn't vote for me, and how can I help them? Why didn't they vote for me? Even out of self-interest.
Yeah.
To say, hey, you didn't vote for me. Why didn't you vote for me? What do
And
I
I
need
want
to
you
do?
to vote for me next time.
Yeah, so what do I need to do? That's smart, right?
Yeah.
If you're really not...
Listen, you
In
said
it.
smart, and I think that's one of the big
Maybe
problems.
Adrienne did too. Maybe that's...
No, maybe,
Yeah.
maybe it's a word we shouldn't use.
Yeah.
No. Thank you
Anyway.
so much for being here. You're both so charming and smart
And fun.
fun.
Are we
You're
funny?
fun.
Are we
Adrienne,
funny?
you're hilarious.
Oh, good.
I mean, you know, you've got, even with the false knee, you're amazing.
It's part of me now.
Like-
Please don't say that.
If you wanted to be more fun, maybe you would have replaced it with an elbow. People are like, "What's that?" And you'd laugh and say, "Oh, never mind." Anyway,
It's great to be here.
Yeah,
and
wonderful.
We're
And
all
Thank
in
you.
this for the long haul.
And we will keep the fight up, okay? We'll be there. We'll be chained to those trees, okay?
thank you.
The trees.
The trees.